the area that really we felt the most pressure on in the second 6 months was at the Aberdeen Cables business. And really what happened there was a confluence of three factors that came together very quickly and at the same time in the second 6 months, and more rapidly and more significantly than I think anybody expected. The first, there was an unprecedented decline in the copper price. It went from about $9,000 per tonne to $3,000 per tonne. The second was the contraction of the building and construction industry. It was firstly residential, but soon after the commercial side followed, and that was weak in the second 6 months. And I'll give some statistics in a while on that. And then the third factor, which also impacted, so you not only had commodities coming down, demand from the market slowing down, but then also the fact that because things had grown so quickly over the past couple of years, that the channel to market for us, the electrical wholesaler channel to market, who we sell to, who then sell on to the contractors, that was massively overstocked. So their first reaction was to slow down their purchases on us. The markets weren't demanding product, and then commodities were hitting at the same time. And a bit of detail on that, you can see copper was down from the end of July basically to the early part of January by some 60%.
At the peak, when we were really flying, we were selling 5,000 tons of equivalent tons of cable to the market, and we were holding 7,000 tons of stock, and we're talking about April, May, June. 6 months later, how the world changed in 60 days. We are down to 2,500 tons of finished goods into the market, and we were caught with this 7,000 tons. Now you might ask, well, why didn't you reduce the stock earlier? We already sent out the warning signs, but one of the things is when we were at the peak, it was very difficult to obtain raw materials. You were struggling to fulfill your factories to go through, so you were putting supply arrangements in place to make the operation as efficient as you could. Had that downturn been slower, we would have bled that out of the system slowly by decreasing orders. It happened so quickly that effectively what happened is we were sitting with the stock, and earlier speakers alluded to the write-down of the copper. We are now down to, as we stand today, we're down to 3,000 tons of copper. So effectively in the 6 month period, we've bled the excess stock out of the system, both through managing the margins to gain those extra sales to move the volume, as well as the actual write-down of the stock. That, of course, impacted our performance for the year.